being one of the basically most famous players in EU, and joining Vitality for sure put a lot of pressure on me since I'm like in a team with mostly rookies, right? Which kind of made me feel like I have to do my best in every game and like be a role model for them, which made me kind of underperform in the first 2 weeks. Just because I just put too much pressure on myself, and yeah, I shouldn't really have too high expectations. I should just be myself and do my job as I used to do at Fnatic, and then everything should be much easier. I had the same problem at the start when I joined Fnatic, right? I was super stressed in the first weeks, but with time the stress passes and then you start perform better, so I do believe with time it's gonna get better. Well, the off-season was for sure kinda crazy, I would say. I mean, I was prepared for everything, basically, and yeah, I just leave everything in the past and start a new journey in Vitality. I think if I play to my peak performance, I can be for sure one of the best junglers in the world, even though last split I kind of underperformed, which came obviously from the meta that didn't suit me, and also we had a lot of team issues that kind of made everyone at the time look pretty bad, even though we can all agree everyone from that previous roster was a very good player, right? So I don't believe that you can go from being a top player to being, how people say it, washed up in just a matter of one split, right? So hopefully this one's gonna be as it should be in the previous one. Well, I'm feeling like it's getting better when it comes to my individual performance. I was, as I said, super stressed at the start and I couldn't really perform in official games, even though in practice we are one of the best, if not even the best team in Europe. So we just have to move the performance in the official games and results will come. I mean, I expect a lot of pressure from Vitality since like they took me from Fnatic, right? And they were not really succeeding in league for the past 2 years. So I believe they put a lot of trust on me to actually bring the team back to being alive, let's say. And yeah, of course, as I said, it puts some pressure on me, but I'm sure it will pass by with time. Well, the thing is, I never really thought of myself as a leader, so it's hard for me to be a role model, even though it's like a basic instinct, let's say, that rookie players look up to players that actually been playing in the league for years and, you know, been to Worlds, been to league finals. If it feels like, I don't really feel like people treat me here as someone better than them. We treat everybody here equally, so that makes me feel actually much more comfortable, because I never really wanted to be that person that people look up to, even though I should be. I'm just being myself, and of course I'm not perfect, I also have my downsides, so people shouldn't really fully follow my steps, let's say. Well, the thing is, I've been in Fnatic for 1 year and a half, right? I've been to finals twice, I've been to Worlds. In the end, I didn't win anything. And I knew after last split that some changes would be made. I spent whole of season not knowing what's gonna happen in Fnatic, and I was basically preparing plan B, which is I always wanted to play with leader, no matter in which team. And when I heard that it's gonna be possible, I felt like Vitality is the team that's actually the place we should go to, just because the org has a big history, right? It's like kinda awkward that they were not performing in league for the previous years when they're one of the top teams in every other game, right? So yeah, that was basically my idea behind coming to this team. I have also here my alt AD carry crown shot, which I played with in the past in SK Gaming. I have coaching staff I worked with in the past and I always wanted to work with. So yeah, basically I have everything here that I need to perform. Everything now I have to do is just focus on myself and make sure I'm in a good state of mind. I think the main issue I had in the past in Fnatic was that I was focused too much on myself. I was not the best teammate, I have to admit. I didn't really try to help others. I just looked at what I could have done better, which is opposite here. I always try to come to a conclusion together with my teammates, what like we all could have done better, not just what I should do better, right? And yeah, I believe that's gonna be a huge step for me. I think everybody has some ego to a certain extent, and of course I also had some ego in the past. I still have, right? But I think I'm becoming less arrogant since, like, I always believed that I'm one of the best junglers in Europe, but I still don't have any trophies, so I don't have really anything to back up the ego with. That's why I think it's time to actually become humble and respect enemies more than I used to. Yeah, I'm conscious that I'm like kind of star player in AC, and that's why I put too much pressure on myself. So, yeah. I mean, all we have to do is just bring some victories, right? Make it to playoffs, be like top 3 at least, and everyone will be happy, I would say. It doesn't really look like we are bullying anybody in the league, right? But again, as I said, in practice we are insanely good, right? So if we're gonna manage to move that performance into stage, we might be considered as those villains, right? Like, it's just the whole wrong ideology of the L9 is that people think if somebody is toxic, it means he's L9. But like, it was just a club on US back in the day where there was like 30 people were just hanging and just talking to each other, not really doing anything special. And yeah, basically few of us were like the, how do you say it? Like the better players, right? That just stood up, and that's why I was one of these people that got remembered as, yeah, a big L9 member, which I don't mind, right? It brings fans, people like it, so. I mean, a lot of players from Europe are straight and direct, right? And that's what might be considered kind of toxic by others. As we can see right now in North America, you have Alfaro, you have Sven, who they're most likely were a bit too direct and got instantly benched for that. But after a few games, they came back because, as you can see, people start to realize that it's better to have a good player that's direct than, you know, a bad player that's, you know, just here and it's like, yes, 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 all good, you know. The thing is, when it comes to team discussion, every talk is nice, because in the end, even if you guys have like some arguments or whatever, you will come to a conclusion and everything's gonna be alright. But that's what team is about, right? There is no team that's always nice to each other and always agree on everything. You always have those spicy arguments, but what matters is that you actually come to a conclusion and agree on something. Doesn't matter in which way you discuss, which is the case here in Vitality. So I know it's gonna bring us to success in the long run. Yeah, I mean, even if the games you won, right, against Schalke and SK, first thing we do is actually look at the replay and see what you could have done better, even though it looked like we played to perfection. There is always something you can improve, right? And I think that's what's the main thing about this team and the other teams I've been at. I think the most important thing is to actually learn from your mistakes, no matter if you win or lose, and then remember about those things you talked about in the future games, right? Because that's how human brain is made, that when you like have picture in your mind, it's much easier to think about it when you like are under pressure and you have to perform than when you just, you know, you just talk about it and that's it. Like, it's, if you like watch the replay and you look at the thing 5 times in a row, it's just gonna stick to your brain. It's gonna be much easier to react to the situation you're gonna be in the next time. Everybody can be a carry in this team. Everybody can carry the game. There is not a person that has to be in the center of the show, let's say. That's what I like about this roster. Yeah, of course, I believe this team has a good potential because that's why I joined this team, right? I didn't just plan on leaving Fnatic and, you know, finding a place just for the sake of playing, because, you know, the reality is I could easily extend my contract in Fnatic, but I didn't feel like that's the place where I want to stay. And I still have the, how do you say, like the will to win, right? And I believe in all the players we have here. It's just a matter of time until we actually start to get more experience together as a team on the stage games, and we're gonna do well. The thing that matters to me the most is to go to Worlds, I would say, just because it's our first split with this team. So even if we don't success in this split in like regular season and in playoffs, I think going to Worlds would be like a really big experience for all of us, right? To get like closer together, to actually see what we're capable of as a team, which I've been at Worlds last year, right? And it was like the best experience of my life. So that's what I'm looking forward the most. But of course, achieving something in playoffs would be also nice, right? No, that's actually completely wrong because, as I said, we already been through 3 losses in a row, right? And everybody was super positive about it. We all were like discussing what we have to work on, what we have to improve, and we instantly started to fix that in the practice next week. So basically, I'm already confident that if things go down, we will be able to come back in this team. I got a lot of followers after that meme, so I don't mind, you know. Like I kind of feel like I created this meme just because I tweeted that I kicked regulars from Fnatic for fun because everybody was like, you know, pointing fingers at me and create this drama, and which was like out of nowhere. But I think it was fun of season, you know. There was like some cool days on Twitter. You could laugh a lot. I don't mind this. Yeah, everything is my fault basically.